Hey folks, Rob here with the first video for Shmuptember, a little month-long celebration of shooters. So to start off with, before I actually get to gameplay, I'm doing this a little differently because we're going to look at Katakis by Rainbow Arts. Well, in this case, this is the re-released Denaris, and the reason for that is quite an interesting one. Rainbow Arts originally put it out in 1988, where it was titled Katakis. As it was, being a German publisher, they were working to get it into the UK market. An injunction was filed against it. Activision filed the injunction because they felt that Katakis had quite a bit of similarities to R-Type. And because of that, they were working on the R-Type conversion for the home computers and were, concerned. Is that a fair thing? Probably. So, of course, as the story goes, they actually ran into problems with their original conversion of R-Type. So what happened was they had the original team that was working on it, basically locked up in offices, working crazy hours to get it done. But they also put in a B plan where they got in touch with Rainbow Arts and had them commission a second conversion. So the team behind Katakis had 6 weeks to essentially transform Katakis into R-Type, which happened, and is actually a pretty good conversion, but a little buggy in parts. But luckily, parts of the original R-Type the original R-Type conversion exist around the net. I'll have some links down below for that. So R-Type was released based on this conversion by Rainbow Arts. Did alright, people loved it. Activision essentially lifted the injunction, being happy with the result. And with a few graphical tweaks and a rename, Katakis became Denaris and got re-released in 1989. So the reason I'm doing a proper intro before actually getting into it is it is a heck of a hard game. I actually tried to do a first run of this and it didn't come out well. So I want to sort of talk a bit about it before cutting to action. The basic storyline is that humans have gone into space, they've set up a colony. I'm going to use Denaris to remember the plot a bit easier. But basically, they set up a colony on planet Denaris and they build machines to sort of help out. The machines, as in usual sci-fi tropes, go rogue, starts attacking the colonies, and it comes down to one lone pilot in a Eagle fighter to basically go through 12 stages and clear everything out. That's sort of really the background. I will cut to the 64 fighter and show you the game in action and actually try and get some way through it. Catch you in a bit. And now we've got Katakis up and running. So it's a pretty basic tile screen, and well, there's a big surprise is that Denaris is, of course, by Manfred Trenz, who would later go on to create the Turrican games. So a pretty bare-bones tile screen here. It'll cycle through the scores, which on the disc version, which I am playing, the disc version, they can be saved to disc, so I've had a lot of practice attempts. But the big thing is these 4 game modes you've got, hopefully when it cycles back. But standard single-player game, 2-player, which is normal arcade style, alternate turns. Teamwork has one player controlling the fighter, the other controlling the satellite, and pause. Okay, so let's dive in. And so, one thing I like is on disc at least, the loading's pretty quick. I don't remember it being that bad on tape either. So, as you can see, hold down fire gives you R-Type style charge bar. And that ship that I crashed into, that was one of the first sprites changed for Denaris. In the original screens of Katakis, it looks very similar to what R-Type does, so I want to avoid that. So that's a speed up. I find that, for me personally, it's a little too fast for me to control. So, you get your collector. In this case, it's... So, I missed the... Okay. So, collectors will give you either speed ups or speed downs. That's a speed up that's sort of orange, and it's brown for speed down. The other thing that happens is you'll get a red, a green, or a blue crystal like that. So red gives you basically a power beam. Green gives you sort of mines that stick to that sort of follow across the landscape, and blue gives you reflecting lasers. Now, when you shoot a formation, you'll get these little orbs, like these grey ones. Red ones boost up your primary fire. You have to collect 6, and the meter runs over, which is actually something new that I've never seen any other shoot. Green ones give you sort of a seeking missile. It's shooting down below, and blue ones activate a shield. So we're at the first boss, and actually this one's pretty easy. One thing I don't like for the bosses, though, is they're sort of timed. Like, you saw that one comes in from the end, and if you take too long in finding the weak spot and destroying it, it'll slowly move over to the left and basically crush you. And there's no way to get out of its way. I'm not a big fan of that. Now we're on to Stage 2, and Stage 2, this is the level that was heavily modified. In Katakis, this is sort of grey metallic, whereas, and as a result, it's, yeah, fairly similar to what R-Type has. So as a result, this was only right. And those walkers, that little walker that I just destroyed was also similar. So now I get to Stage 2 and probably... Okay. Well, that's a terrible run. My run before was actually really nice. So I'll come in and just... I'll go for another run and see how we go. I didn't even get on the table that time. Alright, let's go. You get to see, I mean, the thing with the red, green, and blue gems, or balls, is that you have to collect 6 to level up the attribute. So when you do that, you know, your primary fire will double up. Your missiles you'll be able to fire more, and your shield lasts longer. But the downside is when you die, they're all reset. So if you'd collected 5 red crystals, you would have, you would be reset. So, I'm not a fan of that system either, much like with the power-ups. And there are also 2 additional colour balls I haven't talked about. The yellow ones, as you just saw, act like a smart bomb, and grey ones are just points. So, and your little satellite does act like R-Type in that you can detach it with space, and summon it with space again. But unlike R-Type, it can only attach to the front of the ship. And of course, if you play teamwork mode, player can use, and the second player can grab a joystick in port 1 and and fly that. But yeah, it's not the same as the actual fighter. So you do have disadvantages, disadvantages, which I kind of like that. I mean, there are a lot of things I like in this game, a lot of things I don't. I mean, I'm not a fan of the way the bosses are designed. I mean, to me, I think it's just... damn it, I missed a missile upgrade. First of this stage, I prefer having the lasers, but... Oh! Game is known to glitch a bit, and apparently cracked versions amplify the glitches. So, if you're going to hunt down an emulator image, you probably want to be careful. But there we go. Stage 3. So right now I'm actually in a good position, as I've got 5 ores for the gun upgrade and 3 for the missile upgrade. So if I can get another 2 reds before dying, I might be able to actually, I'll be able to have that primary fire upgraded. So... Again, so far, I mean, I've made it to the 3rd stage, you've seen from the score table. I know there's 12 levels all up, and that's quite a lot for a shooter of this time frame. But, actually, I think that's actually good lot of levels. Curses. I think I made it to the first checkpoint, though. Yeah. Alright. Made it to the first checkpoint, which means I might have a chance of beating this stage. So, and you can see now, like, if this were grey, as it was in Katakis, it'd be very similar to what R-Type does. So, I don't know. I mean, there's cloning, and there's cloning a little too closely. I mean, I think with different level design, I think that there would have actually, you know, there wouldn't have been legit cores. However, seeing how the game, like, how it did turn out, I think there actually is legit cores for the Injunction. I mean, the modifications are worthwhile afterwards. I mean, Denaris is definitely worth playing, or hunting down. I mean, you're going to find it easier to hunt Denaris down than the original Katakis, so of course your mileage might vary. I had wished I'd gotten further, but at least I showed the 2nd stage. But yeah, I definitely think check it out. There was a conversion on the Amiga, but it's not really a conversion, so I guess that's the wrong term, but it's not really like this at all, and it's not a very good, not as good a game. Anyway, so that's a wrap. That's the first game for Shmuptember out of the way. I hope you enjoyed the vid. Definitely check it out. And if you're not going to check this out, definitely check out some other shooters. I, of course, will bring another 64 shooter next week. Thanks again for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up or leave a comment down below. Thanks again for subscribing as well, if you've already done so, or if you've not, do consider if you want to see more gameplay vids. I will catch you on the next video. Thanks again.